You remember that one time you got the sudden urge to change your life for the better? You write down your goals, start some new habits, but end up losing all that motivation within a few days. Frustrated by your inability to stick to your word, you say, "I just really lack the discipline." Here's what nobody tells you. The problem was never your discipline. It was never even your motivation. It was your system. So, I went deep into Atomic Habits by James Clear. And honestly, it restructured the way I think about almost everything. I'm going to break it down in a way you can actually use today. The exact system you and I both can follow to build good habits that are inevitable and eliminate the bad ones to be impossible. Change is invisible until it isn't. We often misunderstand how progress works and quit right before we hit a breakthrough. Just imagine an ice cube sitting in a room that's 25 degrees. The room slowly warms up to 26, 27, 28, and so on. No change. But at 32, it begins to melt. This is exactly how your habits work. You might not see any change by going to the gym only for a month, or you won't become a pianist by practicing for half an hour daily for a week. When we don't see change, we tend to give up. But keep in mind, your efforts weren't being wasted. They were just storing up inside of you to that breakthrough moment. This isn't just a theory. Take a stonecutter, for example. He'll hammer away at a rock 100 times without a single crack showing up. But with that 101st blow, it beautifully splits in two. It's not that final blow that did it. It was the invisible accumulation of all the strikes that came before it. The work is never wasted. It's just invisible. And here's where it gets almost unfair. If you improve by just 1% every single day for a year, you end up 37 times better. Not 2 times, not 5, 37. And the flip side? Getting 1% worse every day brings you down to basically 0. Same amount of time, completely opposite life. The point being that neither success nor failure is a one-time transformation, but a product of your daily habits and beliefs. So you need a core shift in your mindset. Stop obsessing over your goals and start focusing on your systems. Every Olympian wants a gold medal. Every football team wants to win the World Cup. It's not the goal that separates the winner from the loser. The system they use to train does. Goals put your happiness on hold until a milestone is reached. Systems allow you to fall in love with the process of becoming better today. So how do we build systems that take us forward in life? If your system is the engine, your identity is the steering wheel. There are 3 layers to behavior change: the outcome, process, and identity. In order, they are what you get, what you do, and what you believe in. We say, I want to lose weight, which is the outcome, so I will go to the gym, which is the process, so I can be slim, which is the identity. Most of the time, we try to change from the outside in, but true lasting change happens only when you change from the inside out. Imagine 2 people who are trying to quit smoking. When somebody offers them a cigarette, the first one rejects, saying, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." But the other says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." The first one responds in the identity of someone who's trying to quit his bad habit, while the other has completely abandoned that old identity. I used to tell myself I'd seriously work on my habits after the weekend. That weekend turned into 6 months of the exact same patterns. The shift only happened when I stopped saying, "I'm trying to," and started saying, "I am." So the key to building a system that benefits you is to recognize that person you want to become already inside of you. Change the identity from "I want to" or "I'm trying to" "I am." The goal isn't to read a book. The goal is to be a reader. The goal isn't to eat a salad. The goal is to be a healthy person. The word identity actually comes from a Latin word meaning repeated beingness. Every time you perform a habit, you are casting a vote for the type of person you wish to become. How do we build these votes? Your brain builds habits using a 4-step neurological loop: the cue, craving, response, and reward. Cue. This triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. It's a piece of information that predicts a reward. Craving. This is the underlying motivational force. You don't crave smoking a cigarette. You crave the relief it provides. Response. This is the actual habit you perform. Reward. The end goal that satisfies the craving and teaches your brain, "Hey, remember this for next time." To take absolute control of this loop, we use the 4 laws of behavior change. Let's break them down. If you are deciding today that your new identity is someone who continuously levels up and actually finishes what they start, cast your first vote right now and hit subscribe. It is the easiest habit you will build all day. Law number 1, make it obvious. This first law targets the cue. Whenever you want to build a new habit, stop giving yourself just general instructions. Instead, be very specific with it. Implement a time, a location, and maybe a duration for that activity. For example, we normally say, I'm going to work out today. Shift this to, I'm working out for 15 minutes today at 4 p.m. in my garage. Associating the habit with a specific time and place makes your brain build a relationship to it, which increases your willingness to do it. You can boost this even further with habit stacking, which basically means tying a new habit to an existing one. Example, I'm going to do 2 minutes of breathing exercises in my kitchen after I pour myself a cup of coffee. I'm going to drink my coffee and then say 5 things I am grateful for today out loud. While this serves you as a really effective method to form good habits, remember that your environment design plays a critical role in your willingness to perform a habit. Willpower is merely a myth. The most successful people who seem to have great discipline don't rely on their willpower. They design their environment in a way that eliminates distractions and makes what benefits them more obvious. If you want to eat healthy, place fresh veggies and fruits right at your eye level and hide the processed junk food in the very back of your top pantry shelf. If you want to drink more water, fill a few water bottles and place them throughout your house in the rooms you visit the most. It seems so simple, but just try it before writing it off. You'll be surprised by how much we gravitate toward whatever is most visible. You can invert this law for your bad habits by making them invisible. Trying to resist a bad habit while the trigger is staring you right in the face is a losing battle. The secret of breaking bad habits isn't increasing your self-control. It's redesigning your environment so you don't need self-control. If the cue never hits your brain, the craving never starts. If you spend 2 hours scrolling on your phone in bed every night, replace your phone with a cheap alarm clock and leave your phone in a different room at night. If you constantly feel envy or insecurity from comparing yourself to people's highlight reels on social media, unfollow them. Bury those apps in a folder you barely open. Out of sight, genuinely out of mind. Another key hack to avoid bad habits is noticing them. Make the unconscious conscious. The Japanese railway system uses a method called pointing and calling. Operators physically point at signals and call out the speed limit out loud. It sounds silly, but it has reduced errors by nearly 85%. So next time you catch yourself about to slip into a bad habit, say it out loud and name the consequence. For example, I'm about to eat this bag of chips. It's going to break out my skin and add to weight I'm trying to lose. When you're reminded of the real cost, your brain builds resistance. You stop acting on autopilot. Law number 2, make it attractive. This law targets the craving. Now you've made the habit obvious, you can see it, but you still don't feel like doing it. That's a craving problem, and that's exactly what this second law fixes. Craving is directly connected to dopamine. Neuroscience shows us that dopamine spikes highest during anticipation, not fulfillment. It's the craving that drives the action, not the reward itself. Here's a simple reframe that sounds almost too small to matter, but it doesn't. Most of the time, we make our daily tasks sound like a chore. I have to go to school tomorrow. I have to go grocery shopping this evening. Slightly change a few words and watch what happens. I get to go to school. There are so many children who don't get that chance. I get to go grocery shopping and feed my family good food. Same situation, completely different headspace. Now, how do we really use this second law to our advantage? Through something called temptation bundling. You link an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Tell yourself you're only allowed to watch your favorite Netflix show while you're on the treadmill. You're only allowed to scroll social media while you handle bathroom breaks. Suddenly, the thing you were avoiding becomes the price of admission for something you actually enjoy. We can also leverage social proof. As humans, we imitate 3 groups: the people closest to us, the broader society we're part of, and people we see with a higher status. If you want to be a reader, join a book club. If you want to be a great athlete, join a sports club. If you want to build a business, find a mentorship or a community of builders. When you see others who share your end goal actually thriving, your brain quietly starts believing, I can do that too. And it becomes even more powerful when those people already have something in common with you beyond the shared goal. To break bad habits using this law, you invert it. Make them unattractive. Most bad habits stick because the consequences feel invisible until it's too late. So you have to make those consequences loud enough to overpower the short-term pleasure. If you're trying to break a habit that carries serious, long-term consequences, force yourself to actually look at what those consequences look like in real life, not in theory, but visually. Your brain responds to images far more powerfully than it responds to logic. The comedian Tiffany Haddish talked about how she finally quit smoking. Every night before bed, she played YouTube videos showing the extreme effects of smoking on the body. She did this for over a month straight, and it made her so completely disgusted with the habit that she gave it up entirely. That's not willpower. That's environment designed for your mind. Law number 3, make it easy. This targets the response. So now the habit is obvious and attractive, but you're still not doing it. That's a friction problem. And that's what this third law is built to solve. As humans, we're wired to choose the path of least resistance. Studies show only 2% of people would take the stairs when an elevator is available. We are inherently lazy. And honestly, that's fine. We can use it. Stop planning and start doing. Oftentimes, when we want to start something new, we get stuck in what feels like preparation, but is really just dressed up procrastination. You need action, not endless planning. The only way to get good at habits is through repetition. People often ask how long it takes for a habit to stick. Time actually has nothing to do with it. It's about how many times you repeat the action. Each time you do something new neural pathways open. As you repeat it, those pathways strengthen and grow. At some point, the action becomes second nature, no longer requiring conscious effort because it's now programmed into your subconscious. So how do we make sure we stick to a behavior until it reaches that automatic state? Use the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to complete at first. Want to get fit? Don't start with a 1-hour gym session. Do 5 push-ups at home. Want to be a reader? Don't start with 100 pages. Just open the book and read the chapter titles. When you throw yourself into something cold and go hard immediately, your brain registers it as difficult, and your naturally lazy mind will start finding reasons to quit. What you need first is a gateway habit. You have to standardize before you optimize. Master the art of just showing up. Speaking of making things incredibly easy, I have a 2-second habit for you. If this video has given you even one useful idea so far, scroll down and hit subscribe. 0 friction. And it tells your brain you're actually taking this seriously. You can flip this law against bad habits too. Make them difficult. Add friction. A tiny amount of inconvenience is often all it takes to stop a bad habit in its tracks. Use what psychologists call a commitment device, a block you set up for your weaker self before temptation even arrives. If you want to stop impulse spending when you go out, leave your credit cards and Apple Pay at home. Only carry a set amount of physical cash. If you only have $40 in your pocket, spending $100 is physically impossible. You remove the option entirely. If you constantly overeat at restaurants, ask the waiter to split your meal in half and box 50% of it before it even reaches the table. By the time you want more, you'd have to open a taped box. And that tiny bit of effort is usually enough to stop you. If social media is draining your productivity, make it annoying to access. Delete apps from your phone every night. If you want to log back in during work hours, you have to go to the App Store and re-download them. That tiny friction is often all it takes. Law number 4, make it satisfying. This targets the reward. The cardinal rule of behavior change is simple. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. The problem is, we live in a delayed return environment. The reward for going to the gym today won't show up in the mirror for months, but the reward for eating a donut is immediate. Our brains are wired for right now. So to make good habits stick, you have to artificially create immediate rewards for them. The most effective way to do this is habit tracking. Get a physical wall calendar. Every day you complete your habit, put a big red X over that day. Comedian Jerry Seinfeld used this exact method to write jokes every single day. His only rule: don't break the chain. Visualizing your progress is deeply satisfying, and it also triggers the cue that restarts the entire neurological habit loop. I designed 3 clean, minimal habit trackers you can instantly download, print out, and tape to your wall or desk today. 3 different styles, so you can pick the one that actually fits you. If you want to skip drawing your own and just get started, grab all 3 at the first link in the description. It's a small way to support the channel, and more importantly, it gives you a physical blueprint to lock in your habits starting today. Even if you keep up with your habit tracker, life happens. You're going to miss a day. When you do, implement the golden rule: never miss twice. The first miss is a slip-up. The second miss is the beginning of a new bad habit. Forgive yourself fast and rebound immediately. That's what consistently successful people do. Everyone fails. The difference is how quickly they get back up. To break bad habits using this law, you invert it. Make them unsatisfying. The biggest trap with bad habits is that the reward is immediate, but the punishment is delayed. Eating a donut feels great right now, but the weight gain shows up a month later. The consequence feels distant, so it doesn't stop you. To break a bad habit, you have to drag the fear of that consequence into the present moment. The cost needs to feel real right now. A few ways to do that. The accountability partner hack. Create a formal habit contract. If you want to stop skipping your morning workout, text a friend and say, "If I don't send you a sweaty gym selfie by 7 a.m. on weekdays, you have full permission to request $30 from me on Venmo, and I have to pay it." The public reputation hack. As humans, we deeply care about what others think of us. If you have a habit of procrastinating on a project, announce your deadline publicly. Tell everyone, "If I don't launch this by Friday at 5 p.m., I'll post a public apology video admitting I'm all talk." The potential humiliation becomes an immediate cost, and that changes your behavior today. Not all of these will fit your life exactly, but you get the idea. The goal is to design something personal that makes your bad habit feel immediately costly. Now that we've gone through the full framework, let's talk about how to actually apply all of this starting today. Step 1. The habit audit. Write down everything you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. Put a plus next to habits that serve your long-term identity, a minus next to the ones that don't, and an equal sign next to the neutral ones. You cannot change what you don't first acknowledge. Step 2. Define your identity. Ask yourself, who is the type of person that achieves what I want? Then define it. Ask yourself what that person would do, and do that. Step 3. Design your environment. Look at your living space. If your goal is to read, put a book on your pillow and remove the TV remote from the room. Decrease the steps to your good habits and increase the steps to your bad ones. Step 4. Set your implementation intentions. Write it down. I will do this behavior at this time in this location. Then tie it to something you already do. Step 5. Scale it back to 2 minutes. Make your new habit laughably small. If it takes more than 120 seconds, shrink it. Don't focus on results. Focus purely on showing up every single day. Step 6. Track it. Print a calendar today. Put it somewhere obvious. Mark your wins. And if you miss, execute the never miss twice protocol. No drama. Just come back. Once you follow this through, something remarkable happens. The habit becomes automatic. But that brings a new challenge: boredom. How do you keep growing once a habit is easy? Use the Goldilocks rule. Humans experience peak motivation, what psychologists call the flow state, when working on tasks that sit right at the edge of their current abilities. Not too hard, not too easy, just right. Once your 2-minute habit becomes second nature, push it to 5, then 10. Continuously raise the ceiling just enough to stay engaged. At the end of the day, building atomic habits isn't about becoming a joyless robot. It's about earning your freedom. When your basic behaviors run on autopilot, your conscious mind is free to focus on creativity, the people you love, and the things that actually matter. The true mark of a successful person isn't being motivated all the time. It's falling in love with the boredom of doing the work when it's no longer exciting. You have the power to decide who you want to be, Start casting votes for that person today. Remember, nothing changes externally if nothing changes internally. You just invested real time into your own mental framework. That's not a small thing. To make sure you don't miss the next book breakdown that could shift your entire trajectory, hit subscribe and make it your very first atomic habit of the day. And drop a comment below. What's one atomic habit you're going to start today using the 2-minute rule? Until next time, keep showing up.